Good timing.
Good job, Steve. Good job. Now we can start the party. Wait.
What's going on with the occasion? I told her that you come here to see. I look at that. Look at look who's the
Happy birthday. Hi, girl. Mom, you're right.
Don't ask anymore.
Thank you very much. Happy birthday, Doshi.
Let's give Rose a kiss. What do you want to eat, Steven? Hungry?
We weren't supposed to tell her. I didn't even dream about it. You look so pretty.
The purple one.
I'm
trying. You guys all did it with Grandma. I think you should just be this one, and Eva's going to help you get some food. Okay? We're so good,
No, you can keep going. That's all right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very nice. Here, how about Mom and Rose?
I want to say something, so I'm going to start. First, I'm correcting this my mom, but Mom, as I think back over the years, I realized what a tremendous impact you've had on my life and my daughter's life. I still recall the stories about your family bakery in Budapest, meeting my father, your months in concentration camp and DP camp. You used to talk about life in Holland and what it was like coming to the United States. What clearly comes across was that life was not easy for you. You had 2 daughters, but both left Los Angeles. You also survived 2 husbands, a brother, sister, brother-in-law, and many friends. But when you're asked about your life, you always conveyed to me that you have a good life. You're a tough woman, and that's how you want people to know you. You helped run a successful business well past into your mid-70s. You cared for ill family members and have lived alone and enjoyed it for a long time now. You taught me very early on that women were just as capable, if not better, than men at most things. A feminist in your own way without even knowing it. That's where my kids got it from. The impact you have made on me and my daughters is because of what you have experienced and how you have chosen to live your life. Although we don't see you every week for Shabbos, there's a part of you that is with us always. You bring a strong sense of Judaism, heritage, and Hungarian culture into our lives every visit. We all love your blitzes, your chicken paprikash and milk at least. I love that you have taught my kids to children and your grandchildren, and can be strangely superstitious. There are definitely soft spots in your armor. You know how to laugh, especially at yourself, when you're with my children. And I'm always impressed with how happy you are made by life's simple pleasures. But nothing makes you happier than having your family surround you. We love you for who you are and what you bring to our lives, and we wish you lived closer to us. But are comforted to know you have family close by who love and care for you. I feel so blessed that you are so healthy and that you're 80 and still have plenty of spunk. I think it's awesome that you still have the energy to travel, but especially that you want to see Israel again. I'm really looking forward to our trip together. And I'm
G is for generous, which you always teach us how to be.
R is for radiant, which when we look at you, we see.
A is for awesome, that's what you are to us.
N is for never do you get mad or make a fuss.
D is for delighted, we are when we see you.
M is for man, do you love us, and you know we love you too.
A is for all the things you do to make us smile. Seeing you on this special day was worth every single mile.
R is for ravishing, which is how you look all the time.
O is for your outstanding love that always stays in our mind.
S is for your super sweet soul, which you always share with us.
E is for every time we go to LA, staying with you is for sure a must. So let today and every other day be filled with love and joy too, and we hope you know with all our hearts that we love you.
I don't appreciate it.
Okay, so for my writing class this year, one of the assignments was to talk about a culture that you're a part of and to interview someone else who is also a part of that culture and compare like your two experiences. So I thought it'd be interesting to interview my grandma because when she was my age, she was in the concentration camps, and so to talk about her experience with Judaism versus my experience with Judaism. And I also decided to tie in an experience I had at the Museum of Tolerance here in LA when I was in high school, and the effect that experience had on me and my relationship with my grandma and everything like that. So I haven't, she has not been able to see the paper yet, but I wanted to read like 2 paragraphs that were in the paper. My grandmother's struggle to stay alive and pass on the Jewish culture has shaped her life as well as mine. Her values, especially pertaining to Judaism, have been most profoundly influenced by her struggle to rebuild her life after her experience in the concentration camps. During that stage in her life, my grandmother became dependent on and loyal to the international Jewish community. Her continuing dedication has greatly influenced my involvement in the Jewish community, and for that I will be forever grateful. While my grandmother and I have had extremely different experiences with Judaism, I share her love and devotion to the Jewish community and culture as a result of growing up under her influence and with her stories. It was not until that day at the Museum of Tolerance that my sense of responsibility towards the Jewish community became urgent. For the first time, I realized how easy being Jewish had always been for me. I had shamelessly denounced many religious traditions and beliefs, claiming that they did not fit into my lifestyle. I cried at the museum that day because I felt as though I owed my grandmother more than this. She survived to tell her story and to allow the Jewish religion and culture to live on. That moment at the museum, I connected with my grandmother and Judaism in a new way. I understood the importance of preservation and the strength it must have taken to ensure the survival of Judaism. My grandmother looks at me as one of her greatest accomplishments, as proof of her survival. If for no other reason, I have a responsibility to her to carry on the traditions, beliefs, and values of Judaism, because she carried them on for my sake. So, writing this paper was a really great experience for me in terms of learning a lot about her, and we got to talk for hours on the phone on multiple occasions. for me to write, and I'm just grateful for your influence.
Alright, well, mine's not as good as that, but, the most vivid memory that I have of you, Grandma, is when I was little, probably beginning when I was like 3 or 4 years old. Every night before I would go to bed, you would sit on the side of my bed and you would play this little piggy on my hand and in Hungarian, and then you would tickle me and you tried to teach me how to do it, and it took me a really long time because, well, it's in Hungarian, and so I always mess it up because I don't have your accent or anything, but I always remember trying to tickle you, and I knew that you weren't really ticklish, but you pretended that you were, and I always got a kick out of that, and that was for probably 10 years. That was what I always looked forward to when you came, was every night. I'd make you do it over and over and over again, and I wouldn't let you leave until my parents yelled at me, so. And then you taught us how to make blintzes and how to play rummy cube. I know I don't play a lot of rummy cube with you, but you play with the twins a lot. And whenever my friends come over, I always make them blintzes, and they're like, "Where did you learn this from?" And they go, "My grandma," and it's a great Hungarian tradition. And I also wrote a paper. You don't know this, but I also wrote a paper on you this year in my English class, but it was more of a personal narrative. And I talked about the time in 4th grade I wrote another paper on you, and I remember you came to our house and you told me your story about the Holocaust. And that story had the paper that I wrote on this year was about how your story had such a profound impact on me that night I had a dream that I was you, and that I was in the Holocaust, and that I lived through what you lived through, and I still, normally dreams you only remember bits and pieces of it, but this dream, I still to this day remember every little detail of the dream, and I woke up, crying and screaming, and it was so emotional, and that dream just had such an impact on me, and I got to understand, more of where you're from this summer when I went to Budapest, and, I got to see the Jewish day school that you grew up in, and I met Magda, who I remembered from your story, and you had told me so much about her, and even though I never understood a word that she said, and my mom had to translate back and forth constantly, we really connected. I connected with her and Janusz so much, and I think it's because we both have so much love for you, and we have that in common, and we were able to connect with each other. And I want to go back to Budapest so bad, and I want to go with you because that was such an amazing experience to see where you came from. And the best part about going to Budapest for me was knowing that you were proud that one of your granddaughters got to go and see where you were from and meet Magda, and that was probably the best thing for me, was knowing that I made you proud, because I love to make you proud. So, happy birthday, and I love you very much. Let me tell you what
Oh, that's so pretty. That's beautiful.
Tires. It extends far beyond the first-class massages, beyond the thoughtful gifts. It's her dependable reliability and frequent cross-country visits. Of all of the flowers, she's clearly a rose, standing so beautiful and strong. Her love is always expressed in full bloom, dazzling those she's among. Want an opinion? Just go to Rose. She's up on all the news. For fashion tips or Israeli politics, this worldly woman has got a clue. In any conversation, she'll hold her own, and her life stories blow us away. For independence and determination, she outshines us any day. She has a fascinating and turbulent past, and comes from a close-knit family. so it's not hard to see where she got her values of love and utter loyalty. Rose, it took a lot for you to get where you are today. We're lucky to have someone like you in our lives, and we love you more than we can say.
Yes, for you to. That was beautiful.